Nassim, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story with us. I'm really excited to sort of dig into your film background and understand where you come from, and then get to StoryBolt and what you're doing today. But yeah, let's start with the background first. Tell me a little bit about sort of your education and how you sort of got into the industry.
Sure, sure. Well, thank you for this opportunity. My PhD is in international education policy. Probably sounds a little, what's the connection between that and StoryBolt? Actually, there is a very strong connection with that. I was a faculty. I was teaching at Purdue, and I was not in startup world, but I started getting challenged by Gen Z in engaging them in a topic that was very important to me. I was trying to teach them about impact of war on people because unfortunately I had personal story with that. And I was not able to engage them with traditional lectures or even telling them stories with my monotone voice. So it pushed me to go after other experiences that I had. And I found that there was one thing in my background that stand out and became helpful for that experience. I happened to be the leading actress of a film that was featured on Netflix and was awarded at Venice Film Festival and many other film festivals around the world, got theatrical tour in the US and Europe. And when I came as a grad student the year after the tour to US as an international student, it gave me a lot of screening and Q&A opportunities. And I noticed the magic sauce of engagement that happened when people watch a story and then someone from that story walk outside. I made my best friends through those sessions. So I used that experience for my class, finding the right documentary film, and the filmmaker invited that person on screen, and it changed everything. It was so powerful that I joined my co-founder, who is very strong, the king of edutainment, was exiting his third company, a very solid background in business. And together we built a platform that has a scalable product and has a business model behind it for this model. And
fantastic. So there's so much to unpack there. But let's start with the beginning. What was the movie called? The movie that was on Netflix?
Secret Ballot, about
Secret Ballot
by Sony Pictures.
Okay.
I think now it's on Prime Video. It's not on Netflix anymore.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. And I'm guessing it was about elections.
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
Relevant these days. Very relevant. Yeah.
Exactly. So you were featured on it, and as you were doing the movie tour, people would watch the movie, and then you would walk out on stage to essentially Q&A.
Yeah, just I'm sure everybody, like, you've experienced that when you watch a film and then there's like the filmmaker or one of the actors or actress come and join on the screen, like those kind of events that used to be part of Sundance or other film festivals. I didn't. I mean, the connections that I made was not necessarily through those big events and big film festivals. It was through those screening and Q&As that locally happened here and there. They wanted to have someone from the film as part of the Q&A. So wherever I was, that opportunity was there. And yeah, that was exactly that. The film and the story on screen creates a safe environment for everyone to start a very candid conversation. There is this opportunity for get engaged in meaningful conversations, and that's what I experienced with that film.
Fantastic. So now let's jump to the next part of that story, where you're teaching at Purdue. You're on the tenure track. What's sort of the aha moment where you said, okay, I'm going to give up tenure and instead I'm going to start a startup. I'm going to be a founder. That's a huge shift. What happened?
It was even crazier than that. So I was teaching at Purdue. I was a research faculty at the University of Maryland. Then I joined Purdue as a lecturer, and I was teaching. And this happened during the last semester I was teaching there, while I was being interviewed for a tenure track position.
Wow. Okay.
And I was one step, like the last step was getting the offer, and I knew that because I was also a lecturer there, could be very easy offer to get. I had conversation with our chair and with everyone. I knew that I'm the candidate. And that was the moment that was really difficult, because my husband is also a faculty at Purdue. And our dream has always been to, oh, we're going to work at the same university. We're going to be like tenured, it's going to very stable lifestyle. And all of a sudden, this crazy idea came in, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I kept searching I was hoping that I could find a platform so it frees me from all this thinking, and I couldn't. And I knew that if I go through that tenure track process, it's so hard to say no to everything else. Like, I mean, it's so hard to quit that and get out, and it's so hard to say no to everything else. So I thought I have to make my
totally different lifestyle.
Totally different lifestyle. So till that time, when they asked me what do you do, my answer was, I'm a faculty, I'm a researcher in academia, very prestigious title. And then the next day I was like, I'm building something that I'm not sure what it's called yet.
I'm starting a new company.
But
yeah. So tell me the idea, the aha moment. What made you think that there is actually need for this? And obviously you're going after a B2B model. So how does that come into the picture?
Yeah. So when we started this the whole idea was when I used a documentary for my class, and I started seeing that engagement. So from a conversation, so I lost my fiance due to chemical attacks because of the war. It's not a joke for me. It's something that I really wanted to see, that engagement. And I couldn't even get proper eye contact with my students with that topic that I was sharing personal stories, and I couldn't get even proper eye contact. And then the next session, I started screening this documentary called Facing the Mirror, and invited the filmmaker on screen, and it changed the whole conversation. My students were gazed on screen. I started seeing tears. They wanted to get engaged and do something about the issue. The same group of students who had nothing to tell me when I was trying to engage them, the same asked brilliant questions from the filmmaker and wanted to get engaged. So that was the aha moment. That was the moment that I thought there is something there. And this edutainment model is the future of learning. This is something that next generation are already using. We are just so behind on that. And we started the model from universities, because that was where I was the most familiar with. And actually, we were pretty successful in getting, in higher education, it's not easy to get a lot of clients, right? So Northwestern University got on board, School of Art and Stuff Chicago, University of Toronto. We got about 12 universities. And that was when we started looking closer, and we thought, this is a bigger than like slow motion that we are making with higher education. As you know, like higher education market is not the best market to grow fast. And we started thinking, if we can onboard, we started thinking about corporations and companies and the conversations that are happening for culture there. And we thought, if we can, we're going to target 5 giant brands. If we can get one of them on board, that means that there's something there. And to our surprise, all 5 of them got on board. So we started with United Airlines. They came on board. They referred us to Amazon. Amazon referred us to, so it started, the ball started rolling right there. And we knew that we have something right there.
Wow. That's fantastic. So let's break down, we've been, actually, before we get into that, define the word edutainment. You've used it a couple of times. There are some people who may not understand. Sure. Break it down for us.
Yeah. Edutainment is exactly the intersection of learning and entertainment. Okay. So you are learning while you don't really know that you're learning. So in this series that we have for companies and corporations, we tell them, bring your popcorn and join this session. It's really like that. It sounds like it is a fun activity that they get engaged. Instead of watching like old versions of those like videotapes that are talking heads sit there and talk,
Right.
or another training, 3-hour training, or another PowerPoint. They come and watch an award-winning documentary that has been already awarded and has been on screens and is really fun to watch. And they get to talk to someone who has hours of behind the camera stories. So, for example, we have a documentary whose the filmmaker is a TED speaker, not TEDx, TED speaker on the topic.
Right.
We have documentaries about veterans coming home that is made by veterans. It's their experience.
Wow.
We have documentaries about mental health whose filmmakers are, again, TED speakers or very acknowledged researchers who decided to find a better way for their message to get to audience. So these are the kind of model that we're using for conversations and learning that are happening.
Fantastic. So I completely understand the use case in an education type setting, in a classroom type setting, I should say. But now you're going after the company. So what's the value add from a company's perspective? Tell me that.
So at companies, one issue that is a big pain right now that they're all trying to resolve is the pain of lack of inclusivity. They lose high quality talent every day. Actually, it costs them $1 trillion a year in North America alone, not having that positive culture, inclusive culture.
Right.
And indeed reported that last year in North America alone, they had 53% increase in positions related to diversity and inclusion or creating the culture of the organization. So it's getting bigger and bigger. But what is lacking there is the solutions that are innovative and can really move the needle for them. So 3 things that we found from these companies and corporations is the solutions that they are finding are too superficial, too time consuming. The HR team has to spend so much time to create that right solution for them. And also there is no measurable, like accurate way to measure impact. So these are the 3 things that we definitely our solution resolve for them.
Wow. Okay. So that completely makes sense. So if you can, tell me those first 5 clients that you got. You already mentioned United
Airlines, Amazon, Google Cloud, Paylocity, and what was the 5th one? I'm going blank. Enterprise.
Enterprise. Okay. And
Discover.
So
Discover. Sorry.
Discover.
Enterprise and Discover. So,
okay, got it. So those 5 clients, you signed up even before you had a platform, right? So tell me what that first MVP was like and how you signed up, how you convinced Google and Amazon to.
So the first things that we signed up for these clients for has been very duct tapey. Everything from their side sound like they're logging to something very automated and everything. Of course, with all of these gadgets out there, you can't sound like that. And on the other side, it was not really, it was lots of human sweat and hard work. But one thing that was always been there was the quality of the product, the quality of the experience that they went through. So what they've received on the other side was exactly, it saved them time, it saved them resources, and it was exactly the meaningful solution that they wanted to have. So the interconnection between these series is something that they are looking for. They didn't want to go from one isolated session to another isolated training and not get the change that they are looking for. So what we offer to them from day one was, these are the series that are interconnected, and they add to each other. There's a layer. I'm an educator, so I understand how to add layer after layer. Another thing that I understand is measuring impact. So I didn't let it go, and my team, everyone is obsessed with measuring impact. And we did give them impact measurement reports on what they experienced. And now we are building another solution that is very accurate way of measuring impact using brain EEG.
Oh, wow.
So implicit reaction of brain on these
Yeah.
topics. And we are also having like behavioral change. So we are measuring attitude change and behavioral change for longer term series that we're offering.
Got it. Got it. So lay out the timeline for me. I think you started it about 2 years ago, right?
2018, we started with university.
2018. Okay.
Towards the end of the last quarter of 2018, we started looking at other places. By then we had 2,500 short documentaries from,
Wow.
that was 88 countries around the world. And then we started searching what are the other places that you could go, what are the other markets that you could go. We did deep dive customer discovery, making sure that higher education is not the fast growing market.
Right.
And the last quarter of 2019, we decided to make the pivot, and we decided that this is probably going to be the direction that we should go. Last quarter of 2019, we started targeting those 5 brands. And we got the first one early 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic. Right.
Wow.
To be very specific, a week before they shut down offices in Chicago, we had our event at United Airlines Willis Tower.
Wow. Talk about timing.
Yeah.
So now we're at in the pandemic stage. How did the pandemic affect you, or did it affect you?
Well, with all the negative things about the pandemic and the heartbreaking things that happened, for StoryBolt, it's been also an opportunity in terms of going all virtual. It fast forwarded everything with our clients and like companies out there. I'll tell you, like when Amazon came with a 100 employee session, in just a few weeks, they came back and said they're interested in a 1,000 employee session for the whole Department of Finance of North America.
Right.
And we were able to deliver that. And then Google Cloud came and requested series on for 5,000 employee sessions for whole Americas and JPAC region. And we were able to deliver, and that became most attended event for their HR work. So that was a big success for us.
That's phenomenal. So these are not small workshops that you're holding. Now you're targeting 1,000 to 5,000 employees.
Yeah.
So these are huge workshops. That's fantastic. So what does end of 2020 today? Where are you at, and what's sort of the piece that's now doing really well, and then what's not really doing well?
So the sales is going really well. Started really picking up. We had 25x per quarter growth in revenue, 12x growth in basket size, and almost 85% of our clients are coming back. There are some who have been hit with COVID situation pretty bad. But we are adding clients every week. And what we started looking at is like, this is the time that we need to really go after growth. It's a perfect time because we haven't even spent a dime on marketing. Why not spend on PR and marketing? And now we have the exact process. We know exactly what we need to do with our platform and how which parts need to be automated, what are the personas we need in the platform. Like we learned that with large corporations, legal departments are important. They have to be a persona in that platform. Right. So the good thing is we started the alpha version of our platform toward the middle of 2020. And then we paused because we learned that there are so many things that we need to still learn in this hand-holding that we are doing with our clients and early adopters, and learning from them in all these meetings that we are having with them. So we decided to pause, and we are actually happy about that because we didn't waste any money, and we built everything with 200, well, with very small amount of pre-seed that we raised.
Right.
And now we see it as the perfect time to go after our seed round and scale. What we are anticipating is if we automate the operation side and build the platform, and also build the foundation for recommender system with all the data that we are gathering and all the information that we are having now, we could totally see a very scalable platform for that matching part.
Fantastic. So I have two things that are sort of going on in my head as we were talking about this. Are you your pricing model, is it by employee per monthly subscription, or is it one time for 5,000 employees? Here's one price.
It's annual subscription. Something like B2B model for if you're familiar with Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Audible for B2B.
Okay.
So
Got it.
Get credits, and they very quickly run out of their credits, and they come back and want more.
Got it. Got it. Perfect. And the second question I have is, you also have a co-founder. So I sort of want to touch on him a little bit. Tell me a little bit about his background, how you guys connected, and his role in the company.
Yeah. So my co-founder Babak he's a brilliant guy in edutainment and business. He built 3 companies. One of them just recently, it was actually perfect timing, got acquired by one of his advisors. There were one was a consulting company, and 2 others were both platforms that used edutainment in different models and gamification for a kind of scalable service. And the last one was for using storytelling and gamification for mental health. And so right at around the time that I was ready to quit from my teaching position, he was exiting the company, and it was just perfect timing. And we've been working together for more than 10 years because of the interest that we had. He has an MBA, so that helps a lot, and doing so much on understanding. I would tell you that I also got my MBA the last 2 years with all these experiences that I had with his help. But he has that knowledge and experience with everything you need to know about startups. We also have brilliant team of advisors in Silicon Valley and also here in Chicago. So that's also helping us a lot.
Fantastic. So now let's talk about sort of the future. Now that we sort of know your background, what does 2021 look like? What are some of the milestones that you have in your mind that you would love to achieve in the next 12 months?
So 2021, we see it as a growth year for what we've had so far, building the platform and automating so many parts that we are doing manually right now. So we are looking forward to making those parts happen through automation, and also getting ready for Series A. That's what we are also looking into, because as soon as we get our target revenue for 2021, we'll be ready with enough data for going after recommender system, and also topic modeling. That's another thing that we're going after with understanding the conversations of companies and organizations and what they are looking for. So from series that they sign up for and the data that you're collecting, you can easily say, for example, right now, post-COVID conversations, what are those topics and what is needed to get ready for that. Lots of strategic partnerships with film festivals. And so both sides of the platform, we see them coming together, both on the filmmaker side, building the partnerships that we need, and preparing the UI of that platform, and on the client side, scaling up.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I think now I sort of understand the sort of what you want to achieve. What's the long-term goal? 3, 5 years out.
Mhm.
What's the grand vision in your mind?
Yeah, so 3 to 5 is we are looking into a marketplace uh, for um, for culture solutions at companies and corporations. Right now, we are focusing on internal needs only, like corporate training and employees need. But eventually, we are looking at it as a marketplace that could serve both internal needs and external branding and marketing needs. So
Mm,
rather than hiring another videographer for branding and uh, marketing for any department that you can imagine, they can just hire an award-winning documentary filmmaker and match their knowledge and understanding and background and experience with what they need to make for themselves. So that's the 3 to 5 year vision.
oh, okay.
And the bigger vision that both Babak and I have is to we look at it as a next way of learning. Edutainment through storytelling is getting bigger and bigger, and we are looking into all different verticals. Right now we are focusing on documentary films, but why not using stand-up comedy? Why not using serious games and all other types of storytelling? And those who are making and performing on those way of storytelling would be the best who can teach us rather than
Right.
another PhD.
Coming from a
No,
PhD.
no, yeah, no offense to anyone, but
No, that's
those
fantastic.
skills, yeah.
Yeah, no, I really love this edutainment idea, and yeah, you're absolutely right. And there are a lot of ways to monetize it, or create businesses around that. What's the grand vision? Do you foresee building a multi-billion-dollar company and doing an IPO,
Hmm.
or the
That's a
how,
great question. Yeah. Well, there are definitely exit strategies that we are seeing already right there with the data that we're collecting, and also with other HR tech platforms out there that many of them are doing the analysis part. They
Hmm,
are in need of a platform that can help them with content. And
got it.
there are multiple opportunities for several of those HR platforms like Culture Amp and several others who might be interested in what we're building on the HR tech side. On the media side also, there are several opportunities with the marketing opportunity we provide for filmmakers. On the content side is one of the first, StoryBolt is one of the first platforms that short documentary filmmakers can count on an ongoing revenue without advertisement, which is like
Hmm,
dream world for them.
right.
And they can also have the engagement side. So that's another opportunity on that side. Um, and we'll see how things gonna
Got
go.
it. This is sort of, it might sound like a silly question, but we've talked about documentaries throughout this conversation. And when I hear the word documentary, I hear, hour and a half, 2 hours,
Oh.
sit down and watch a long form
Mhm.
movie, right? Uh, what is that definition correct, or
Great question.
does it need to be updated?
Yeah, no. Actually, one of the magic sauce here is we are focused only on short documentaries. No corporation is going to spend. We have amazing award-winning documentaries. We have PBS documentaries that are 3 hours, and the filmmaker submits only the 30-minute version for
Oh,
us.
wow. Okay.
And we have exclusive license with top 10 documentaries that we have. And it is really important to focus on that. So it's none of them are featured length documentaries. We don't
So
go
all are under 30 minutes or
all,
30 minutes,
average 30 minutes. Yes.
average 30 minutes. Okay. So I think that's a really, from a corporate perspective, if you have a 1 hour event, that's ideal. You know, you have a little bit of intro. Is that how you envision it? Is that?
That's why they love us. That's why they come and get serious. Because
It.
it's the sessions are under 90 minutes or 1 hour, depending on the length of the conversation they want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And they get everything they need. So on the other side, on the documentary side, here is another thing that filmmakers usually have to hire an impact producer to create an engagement kit for them and to
Mm-hmm.
take their documentary to communities, to different places, so they can finally get engaged with audience and deliver the message and get in front of the audience.
Right.
What they could do through our platform is not only they can license their documentary for this corporate series, but also with all the research that they've done, there are all different pieces that they can submit. Like there are tests and games and things that they know that is part of this whole topic.
Right.
That they submit to our platform, and it become that ecosystem for engagement. So not only they don't have to pay for that, they even get paid for each session that they participate.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. This seems like a really interesting business idea. And you know, there are a bunch of other questions that, you know, specific questions that we could probably address in due diligence. But is there anything in your story that I haven't asked you about it that I may have left off? I just want to make sure we capture everything.
I think you did. Yeah. I think.
Okay.
Thanks for all the great questions. Yeah.
No, and thank you for coming on and answering all of them for me. I really appreciate it. I think you guys are doing something amazing. And I hope we can get you the resources you need to sort of
Thank you.
keep going.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
Bye.